Well, racism is really sad. I'm going to be honest. I think there will always be racist people and bad people all over the world. Often these people hate themselves and their like, so they try making others feel bad about themselves. Well, yeah, it's the bully syndrome, right? Like, we definitely know that that's a thing that's never going to go away, right? Like, there's always going to be conflicts, but it doesn't mean that we can't work to lessen the impact, right? And to deal with the consequences, or to work toward eliminating the origin of the problem.
Mm.
And just like Avril mentioned earlier, in the United States, racism is systemic and it's baked into the DNA of the country, and we are working to change that right now. That's what's going on. It's a big movement to make radical changes to our institutions and our systems, to cleanse them of the toxic racial hierarchy that was imposed upon them. And not every country needs specifically that to happen. But so I can understand how people looking from the outside in might not understand. But in the United States, there's definitely a desperate, I would call it, situation there in terms of race. And it has to be dealt with. And I think a lot of people here in the country are realizing that this is our last chance to do something about it. Because what happens after this is either we make peace with this and we come to terms with our racial past and move into the present together with an acknowledgement of that truth, or the only other option is violence. So we're hoping for the former.
Yeah, and I think a really big issue with the United States when it comes to the systematic racism is the lack of knowledge of the general population of what happens, or the ignorance of this information, of this history of slavery, what exactly happened, because I feel that when we learn it in school, it's kind of somewhat glazed over. And there's some parts of the country that they don't even teach that. So the one thing I do like about Germany, because obviously the World War I, World War II history, which is a very, very grim history, and the way that Germans or German society have kind of faced that and integrated the learnings, the lessons of that into their daily lives. And it's not just a history book thing, it's an everywhere thing. You'll see it in media, you'll see it in museums, you see it in monuments, you see it everywhere. And they have a thing, it's called Vergangenheitsaufarbeitung. And it's basically like kind of like working on the past, like building on the past, like learning from it and making a better history for the country. And one thing I wish the United States did is really come to terms with its past. I feel that in the United States, it's not so much in your face or much universal of like the history of slavery, how all these things came together, why these people are oppressed, and why are these people like standing up for their rights. And I feel that if that was brought more to the forefront, not only in schools but everywhere, all throughout the education, because it needs to be like a general type of thing that you could not just see, okay, that just happened then, this is not happening now. No, it is happening now, and this is why it's still happening now.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously, as an educator, I 100% agree that, it needs to be baked into the DNA just the same way that racism was baked into the DNA. We need to bake anti racism into it. That is what America needs to do the same way that you're describing Germany did. Like, you can't, it's part of the culture there now, anti fascism, right? And like learning from what happened there is part of their culture. We need to do the same thing here in the United States and make anti-racism part of our culture, making sure that we never go back to being what we were. I mean, obviously, we're still somewhat where we are, but we need to at least start somewhere with an acknowledgement, as you said, of our past history. Thanks for watching. For access to the full-length conversation and all of the 2-hour-long unedited conversations that I've had on race, click the support link in the description below. Thanks for your support, and see you next time.